The drag of the regular season is upon us. We're getting closer to the halfway mark of the regular season, and you can tell by the content that's being put out there on a daily basis. It's a never-ending loop of Russell Westbrook takes. The can you believe LeBron James is still doing this at the age of 37 takes, and the whole Kyrie Irving situation. Before you know it, we're going to be bombarded by MVP talks as we get closer to the postseason. So I'm here to hold you down while we wait for the playoffs to begin. I am so close to releasing my new book titled The All-Time Greatest NBA Book. This isn't me lacking modesty, but it's to describe the content of the book. I talk extensively on the 50 greatest teams of all time. Then I do a 16 playoff bracket to see who would win in a 7-game series between the 6 greatest teams ever. I talk about the 50 greatest playoff runs by a player. I talk about the 50 greatest playoff moments of all time, the 100 greatest players ever, and more. You will see a link on the description box that will send you to my official website where I posted the introduction of the book. It will give you a better idea about the concept of the whole book. I talk a little bit about myself, and I also talk about how the career and death of Kobe Bryant helped me realize what my standard of greatness is. It would be greatly appreciated if you all can click on the link and read the first portion of the book. And for the next few weeks, I'll be revealing some key details about the content of the book right here on the Basketball Universe channel. So now on to the video. We're talking about 3 of the greatest playoff moments that were legendary and shocking when they first occurred that has gone lost in time. They never get brought up and they never get talked about. So let's put the spotlight on these amazing moments that you might have never heard about. The first one is Michael Cooper, and his moment occurred in Game 5 of the 1988 second round series against the Utah Jazz. This was John Stockton versus Magic Johnson, 2 of the greatest point guards in NBA history. This was Karl Malone versus Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the number 1 and the number 2 scorer in league history. We're talking about the most underrated playoff game in Laker history and the most underrated clutch moment in their storied history. The last 5 minutes of the game were high-intensity basketball, with each team trading big shots. Thurl Bailey made a baseline jumper with 12 seconds left to take a 109-108 lead. So with the Lakers season on the line, Michael Cooper checked back into the game. Magic Johnson found him open, and he swished a 17-footer from the top of the key with 7 seconds left. In the following possession, James Worthy stole the inbounds pass, and that was the game. If he would have missed, it's safe to say that the Lakers would have gone eliminated in the following game. The Lakers were terrible playing on the road that postseason, and it's hard to make a case for the Lakers that they would have forced the Game 7 on Utah's home floor. In fact, they won only 3 road games out of the 10 they played in the playoffs. So that shot that Michael Cooper made saved their season and allowed them to eventually win the championship. The second one is Bob Dandridge, and his moment occurred in Game 7 against George Gervin and the San Antonio Spurs in the Eastern Conference Finals. As legendary as the Iceman was, he was never able to carry his team to the finals during his playing career. This was the year where he got the closest. He was holding a 3-1 series lead, but the Bullets were able to force a Game 7. George Gervin did everything he could to finally get a shot at winning the title. He ended the game with 42 points, and George pretty much had his way for the entirety of the game. However, the Bullets made an adjustment that worked wonders for them. They decided to make Bob Dandridge guard Gervin down the stretch, and he was able to hold him to 0 points for the final 2 minutes of the game. That allowed the Bullets to go on an 8-0 run and take the lead with about a minute left in the game. James Silas of the Spurs then tied the game with 24 seconds left. And then Bob Dandridge was able to make the biggest shot of his Hall of Fame career. He went over to his sweet spot, which is the right corner of the floor, and he swished a 15-footer with 7 seconds left that helped the Washington Bullets make their second straight finals appearance. It's one of the few Game 7 game winners that curiously never gets talked about. Last but not least, we have Sam Jones, and this moment occurred also in a Game 7. But what makes this moment so legendary was that he made the shot over one of the greatest shot blockers in NBA history. It was against Wilt Chamberlain and the Philadelphia Warriors in the 1962 Eastern Division Finals, which is basically the conference finals. I talk about this moment a little bit in the last video that I posted, and the link is there on the top for you all to enjoy, where I pay tribute to the basketball career of Sam Jones after we received the sad news of his passing. Now keep in mind that this was a year that Wilt averaged 50 points per game for the season, and the league still committed the atrocity of giving the MVP award to Bill Russell. So this was his chance to prove to the world the terrible mistake they made by being one of the few teams to eliminate Russell and the Celtics in the playoffs. The game was tied in the final moments of the game, and the Warriors just needed one stop to force overtime. The Celtics gave the ball to Sam Jones, and he made this high-arcing shot that went just over the fingertips of Wilt Chamberlain, and he made the game-winning shot with 2 seconds remaining. After the game, Chamberlain hailed Jones as the Celtics' best player. Thanks to his shot, the Celtics were able to advance to the finals and eventually win their 4th straight title. Before Kawhi Leonard made the only Game 7 buzzer-beating shot in 2019, this was the closest that we ever got to that rare feat for nearly 60 years. There's a reason why he was nicknamed Mr. Clutch. These moments all appear in my new book titled The All-Time Greatest NBA Book. I have 2 chapters dedicated to the greatest playoff moments of all time, and this hopefully proves to you all that I don't dismiss the great moments, teams, and players of the past. As you'll see when you read the introduction of the book, that I have a deep love and respect for the history of the game. The book should be out by late in January or early February. If you would like to know more information about the content and release of the book, you can subscribe to my Basketball Universe channel. You can also follow me on Twitter with the link that appears in the description box. And if you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to like the video. Thanks for listening.